Hello, friends. Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone? Let me let everybody in and then we will get started. 1 second. Say hello in the chat if you can hear me. Don't all have to be so shy. Hello. Hey, Susie. Hey, Amber. Anicia, Michelle, Iman, hello, hello. Hello, Christina, Jasmine, Helen, Dewayla. What's up? Is this live going to be saved? Yes, it will get saved on my YouTube channel. Yeah. Hello. Hi, Pam. Hi, Linda. Molly. Hello, hello. Thanks for joining me on a random Sunday. I literally woke up this morning and was like, I'm going to do a training today. It was so off the wall. I literally put up a post maybe, I don't know, like 3 or 4 hours ago. And I'm like, yeah, let's get on Zoom. So here we are. Um, I have a couple of little slides for you all. So let me go ahead and pull that up because I don't want to keep y'all forever. And yeah, so 1 second while I pull up my slides and we will get started here. So let's see. Um, whoa, my mouse likes to die randomly. So let's pray that it does not do that today. Hey, Lisa, missing you on Zoom. Aw, Patrice, hello. All right, let's see. I'm gonna share this and let a couple more people in the room make this big, and we are going to get started. Present. All right, so if you guys have any questions as we go throughout the lesson today, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll try to keep an eye on them. I'm gonna try to get through the whole training first, and then after the fact, if anybody has questions, I'll go back through the chat and pull out all of your questions and everything. All right, so with that in mind. Let's see, there we go. The training today is called From Random Sales to Reliable Revenue. And we're going to be talking about the 5 patterns keeping product-based business owners stuck and how to fix them in 90 days. So, how this came up, I have done a lot of one-on-one calls as of recently. I for a while had a team of people who were taking calls for me. So when someone would inquire about working with me, or when I would be having a conversation with someone, I would redirect them to booking a call. If they were serious about working with me, serious about getting help, we would get them on a call. And so I stopped working with that team maybe 2 or 3 months ago. And I started doing all those calls myself, because it's just way more impactful for me to have the conversations myself. They're not e-commerce experts. They're really just like they were collecting information for me. And then I would kind of figure out whether or not the person was a good or bad fit. Long story short, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start doing these calls myself. And this month I've had about 36 calls back to back to back. Like I'm just on Zoom all day, every day. And over the course of those calls, a lot of the same like recurring things were coming up, a lot of the same patterns. And today's training is going to be based off of a lot of the recurring things that were coming up on those calls. Because I figure if 36 people straight were experiencing the same things that kind of got grouped in together, a lot of other people probably aligned with that as well. So before we get started, I want you guys to put a 1 in the chat if you've ever felt like you're on a treadmill to nowhere with your business. So you constantly feel like you're like doing, or you're like walking fast paced towards nothing at all. I have had so many seasons of my business personally where it felt like I was sitting at this desk for hours and hours and hours, and I would get up and be like, what did I do today? Like, I would be like, where did I go? What did I do? Did I actually accomplish anything? Or I would get to the end of the month and be like, man, that was the hardest month ever. What did I accomplish? Like, I still to this day have time periods where I have to ask myself, like, girl, what are you doing? Like, you're sitting here and what occurred? I see a lot of ones. Okay, cool. I'm not alone. Listen, even knowing what I know about business, I still have times where I feel like I'm on a fast track to absolutely nowhere at the end of the day. So I want y'all to know if you're feeling this way, you're not alone at all. Um, I promise you. Okay. So I want you to know that you aren't failing because as I just stated, I don't feel like I'm failing, but I absolutely, without a doubt, feel like there have been a multitude of occasions where I felt like I was going absolutely nowhere. I was just like running in circles. But what I realized about myself and what I realized from having a lot of the conversations that I have is that it's typically just a pattern you're stuck in, and you just got to get yourself out of that pattern at the end of the day. Like, I think that sometimes we're not able to identify for ourselves that we are stuck in a pattern of literally doing the same things and getting nowhere. I'm sure you've heard the statement that doing the same things over and over again and expecting a new result is insanity. Like, been there so many times. And it's the case for so many business owners. So we just are going to talk about the patterns that exist today and ultimately how to get out of those patterns. So, as I stated, I've had 36 calls this month, and most people fall into one of these three groups. The first is doing nothing. Like, I've literally had calls with people this month, and this is not to call anybody out. Like, I'm literally telling y'all are not alone. We're gonna reel it in, and I'm gonna tell you, like, hey, friend, like friend to friend, woman to woman, business owner to business owner, like, here's what needs to change, okay? So there's a lot of people who are literally doing nothing. They feel like they are doing things, and they're like, I ask them, so tell me about what you've done this week, and they will quite literally say nothing. Like, they don't have a single word to give to me. And so it's like, I understand you're on this call because you want help. I applaud that, but nothing is nothing at the end of the day, right? Like, us us being able to have a impactful conversation is contingent on something, right? Like, we have to have something to talk about. So if you're doing nothing but expecting something, clearly you could say that that doesn't make sense. The second group is doing the bare minimum. So a lot of times people have a very grand, large goal. They want to make an amount of money that they've never seen before. They want to replace their income. They want to make a certain dollar amount every day, every week, every month, so on and so forth. But they want to do that doing the absolute bare minimum. And in all actuality, sometimes they don't even realize that what they're doing is the bare minimum. What they're doing right now may feel like a lot, but when you're talking to somebody who knows the amount of work or effort that it takes to acquire whatever it is that you're trying to acquire, you often find out that what you think is a lot is actually, in fact, not a ton. And then lastly, you're inconsistent. So you do work, but you are like bouncing in and out of the work. You're like, I have a week where I go strong, or a few days of the week where I go strong, and then I have a few days of the week where I do nothing. Or I have like a month where I'm going hard, and then the next month I do nothing, or I'm very quiet. I just kind of fall off the bandwagon, inconsistent, right? So again, out of those 36 calls, most people fell into one of these three groups. Most of the time when people get on a call with me, it's not because they're doing great, right? It's not because they're actually, in fact, meeting their goals, because they are, you know, striving in some magical way, and they're like, oh, I want to double, triple, quadruple. A lot of times these are people who are not meeting their goals, not seeing the results that they want, right? So all of the calls I had are likely relatable. So let's talk about each one of those groups individually. Group one, the doing nothingers. These are the people that are typically overwhelmed, but not overwhelmed from doing work. They're typically overwhelmed with information. They have a lot of information that they've acquired. They've taken a lot of classes. They've attended the webinars, been to the conferences, like even my own. Like, I tell everybody, I don't have a problem with, I will call you out and say, I know how many classes you've been on. I will look your name up. You book a call with me, I will look your name up and be like, I know that you took this class. I know that you took that class. I know that you took this class. I know you booked, I know where you are, friend. I have no problem with calling out. Some people are simply overwhelmed because they keep acquiring more information that they do nothing with, and that doesn't serve you in any way. As a result, they end up hitting pause. They're like, you know what? I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to take a quick little break. That's what they call it. But breaks are literally symptoms, not solutions. When I took a break from my business, it was me doing it from a solution standpoint. My business was working just fine, but I needed it to work better. And a vendor changed up what they sold, which meant that I needed to change up what I sold. I needed a new solution. A lot of the people that come to me and tell me that they're on a break, they're on a break that doesn't have a problem yet that needs, they're seeing the break as a solution, but in fact, the business has tons of problems. The break is a symptom of the problems that exist in the business. So it's really important to not tell yourself that things are worse off than they actually in fact are, and to really have a realistic idea of what business entails. And just honestly, just if you listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth, business is hard. Like plain and simply, if it feels hard, it's hard. Like don't expect it to be easy. It's hard. At the level of business that I am at, it is still hard. It gets harder every single day. Okay. So if it feels hard, I actually, in fact, want you to know that you're actually probably doing a good job sticking it out. If you tell yourself it's hard and you quit, you're doing yourself a disservice. Okay. So, for a lot of people, I want you to look on the right hand side of the screen. This is what their business currently looks like: no content. And as a result of no content, no website traffic. As a result of no website traffic, no email list growth. As a result of no email list growth, they don't really have nobody to send an email to. They have no reason to send an email. They're also not running ads. Also, there's no welcome series, there's no abandoned cart series, there's no thank you series, so on and so forth. You have a business, you got an entity that has a name, you have a website, you have some products, but like the business, it's not actually in fact doing anything. And that's a problem. Okay. Here's group two. Group two is the bare minimum group. They have some content, driving traffic to the website. They got a pop up. They have an email list. They got a basic welcome email, the basic abandoned cart, a single thank you email. Like they got some stuff going on. These are the people that are posting, but they're typically the people posting just to say that they posted. Like they're the people who like to be able to applaud themselves because they were consistent. And I'll applaud you too for being consistent, but consistency without strategy also doesn't serve you well. So these are the people who check boxes. They're the people who are like, I posted today, and I'm like, okay. And they're like, I sent an email on Friday. Okay. And they're like, I boosted a post. And I'm like, cool. But what did we get as a result of that? What were we trying to accomplish specifically as a result of those things? So this type of business looks good from the outside because it looks like it's flowing, but the problem is that this can't support the consistent, repeatable sales that you desire. The consistent daily 5 orders a day, $1,000 a day, $100 a day, five, whatever the amount is. This does not support the consistency that you're telling me that you desire. So this on the right is what these people's businesses look like. They typically have content. The content is driving traffic to the website. They have an email list being grown because they have a pop-up on their website. They have a welcome series that they're likely sending people through. If people are abandoning their cart, they're typically getting a reminder about the cart that they left behind. And if they purchase, they typically get a thank you email. Great. You have a business. But it's not the business that you desire to have. It's not the business that's going to drive the consistent sales that you, in fact, desire. This will work, but it's not going to work for the consistency that you desire. And then this is group three, the inconsistent crowd. So these are the people who post randomly, send an email randomly, run a random sale, give a random discount, random ad here and there, might be work with an influencer on and off, dropping new arrivals, don't really have a marketing calendar, don't have a sales plan. They just do the things, but they don't do it repeatedly. They don't do it strategically. They don't do it intentionally. They just do the things. So these are the people that are busy but scattered, throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping that it sticks. They feel like they're putting in effort, but it's really just chaos, not consistency. So as you can see on the right here, theirs is just disjointed. It's all over the place. Nothing talks to nothing. None of these things matter to one another. The post is not sending traffic somewhere in particular. The ad is not sending traffic to something in particular. The email was just thrown together. The influencer, you don't even work with her consistently. It's just all over the place. This is what a lot of people's businesses look like. So when I ask, what are you doing? They say, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And they typically will own up to the fact that they're not doing that thing consistently, which is, I mean, if you know that you're not doing the thing consistently, like you don't need me to tell you that the thing needs to be consistent. You just got to ask yourself, why aren't you doing it consistently? Like what's stopping you from doing it consistently, right? So this is group three. So, as I mentioned, you can make sales with just this content being driven to the website, growing your email list. As a result of the email list, they're going through the flow, so on and so forth. The problem with this type of business isn't effort. It's more so that you're trying to complete a puzzle with most of the pieces missing. So, this is the pieces, parts, but it looks like a full puzzle, but it's actually like I don't know, like 15% of the puzzle. That might be me being generous. It's a very small piece. It's like a little chunk, like a corner of the puzzle. So you'll never actually see the full picture, and that full picture being the consistent sales if you're missing most of the actual pieces of this puzzle. Plain and simply, like as I mentioned, I said a lot of the same words on these 36 calls that I had because everybody was missing all the same pieces. I'm like, e-commerce is just e-commerce. Like you can Google what is e-commerce. You could ask ChatGPT, what are the most crucial components of an e-commerce business? What is my e-commerce business typically lacking or currently lacking? It will tell you if you tell it this is what I have and then ask it what are you likely missing that's stopping you from making consistent sales, it will tell you. So we're going to go through what's probably missing, okay? So first, I want to talk to you about the 5 patterns that I saw through all these calls, and then I'm going to show you a visual of what business should look like, okay? So 36 calls, 5 types of business owners. The first is the avoiders, the second, the overwhelmed jugglers, the learners on pause, the hustling sellers, and the starter stopper crew. It got to the point where I literally would just be like, okay, which of these groups does the person fall into? Because almost everybody fell into one of these groups. So let's go through each one individually. The first is the avoider. This is the person who wants results but is avoiding the work, or they don't want to do the work themselves. Like they're spending all of their time trying to find somebody else to do the work for them. And before you know it, another month has went past, another quarter has went past, and before we know it, a whole year, a new year will be here. They want the result without the work having to be done, or they want to do the most minimal amount of work and get the most maximum amount of result. And here's the thing. It's not impossible for you to do the most minimal amount of work and get a maximum result, but you don't get that from the beginning. Like you got to put in some elbow grease, some extra effort in the beginning to get to a place where you don't have to do much and you make money. Like for example, by the time I got to like year 3 or 4 of my business, I didn't have to do much. I barely posted. I let the ads run. I had an ad that was running for 8 months straight. As long as I kept the inventory in stock, my business basically ran itself. But I didn't start there. I had to grow to that point, right? This is the person that's always looking for a shortcut and doesn't realize how much time and money they've wasted in the process. So the people that I had conversations with that fall into this particular group are people who've likely hired somebody at some point to perform a task for them, or they keep getting on calls with experts and things like that, hoping that somebody will give them the most simplified path to the result that they want, only for almost all of us to tell them the exact same thing. Like, this is simply what the path is, plain and simply. Like, you can't get to the 100th floor without you going through floors 1 through 99, plain and simply. So this person doesn't realize that you can outsource tasks to other people, but you cannot outsource your clarity. So I always tell people this is the reason why I coach. Last year, I did 9 months straight of me performing services for people while also coaching. And I immediately decided that, I mean, from like the first month or so, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to stick to coaching. But I stuck with the services for long enough for me to see and justify my logic in determining that people needed information because I was helping people do their emails, do their ads, rebuild their website, create the content, but they lacked understanding of business as a whole. They didn't understand marketing, they didn't understand sales, they didn't understand advertising, they didn't understand funnels, they didn't understand the customer journey. They did not understand business. So I was literally having to coach in real time while also performing the services. There are a ton of people who will take your money and provide a service to you, but that doesn't mean that you understand that thing. It is really important for you to understand the things that you pay people to do for you because it is very easy for people to take your money and run off into the sun and lead you to believe that your business is better off than it actually, in fact, is. So these are the people that tell me, I just want somebody to tell me exactly what to do. I don't have time to learn. I just need someone to do it for me. I get it. I would love to just have somebody to do it for me all the time, but there is a lot of things that I still do myself in my business, like a lot, a lot. But it's not a case of, oh, I'm doing that thing all day, every day. I figure out what needs to be figured out. I automate what needs to be automated. I make decisions that I know that I'm going to stick to, and I don't bounce from thing to thing to thing. I stick with what needs to be stuck to. So this person is likely just waiting for someone to hand them success, and it's likely not going to occur. You're going to have to earn said success, okay? The second group is the overwhelmed juggler. This is the person that starts everything but finishes nothing. I see this all day, every day. I literally will have a conversation with somebody. We could be on a call working on that thing together. I could get them halfway there and I will be like, okay, when do you plan to have this done by? They'll say Wednesday. And then I'll check in on Tuesday and they're like, oh, I forgot. Like, what in the world? We did half of the work already. This is often the person that spreads their effort too thin. They have a to-do list that is a mile long and they lie to themselves saying that they're going to finish all those things in the most unrealistic amount of time. And then they ultimately end up not completing anything because they're trying to complete everything in one small window of time. They're like, I'm going to complete all these things. And they start on all of them, but they never finish any of them. That's a problem. This person is constantly busy posting, designing emails, updating the website, starting email flows, starting the ads, never publishing them. Nothing ever gets finished. Like everything is just an incomplete task. I audit a lot of people's businesses. People want me to do audits of their websites, their flow, their email flows, their ad accounts, so on and so forth. And I'm like, man, there was a lot of like drafted things in here. Like, why are there so many drafted things? They're like, oh, I forgot that I started that. I forgot I was doing that. I forgot that. And I'm like, how does this happen? I don't get it. So this person doesn't understand that it's not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things in the right order and at the right time. Yes, all things may be important, but not all things are important right now, today, in this very moment. The third group is the learner on pause. This is my favorite one. I talk to a lot of these. So this is the person that knows all the terms, especially if you've been in my world since day one. I done told you all the terms, friend. I done hosted every class imaginable. I done did 70,000 webinars, a membership that had way too many videos, 17,000 different courses, classes, programs, so on and so forth. They know all the words, funnels, flows, AOV, conversion rate, anything. They could probably teach the class for me. Like no joke. There are like a list of people that I'm like, they could probably teach the class on my behalf. If I got sick, I got a list of people that I would trust to teach the class because they understand the things, but they never have implemented the things. It has never occurred. They can tell you exactly what it means, where it is, they know where to locate it. They've never implemented none of it. I don't know. This is where most people live. They know the words, but they don't know the work, actually. In fact, knowledge is not gonna pay you. Like I can attest to you, I got a lot of knowledge in my brain that never actually makes it to the internet. A lot of it. Like there are videos that I want to record, classes I want to host, all types of things. The knowledge in my brain is not getting me paid at all. Execution is going to get me paid at some point when I finally let that information out of my brain. So this is the person that is stuck collecting more information, but because she hasn't executed, her sales are stuck as well. She's stuck in information overload, and that information is not getting her anywhere, unfortunately. This is another one I see a lot. The hustling seller. This is the person that actually, in fact, is making sales, but they may not be making very many sales online, or they only make sales online when they go live and things like that. So these are the people that make most of their money from pop-up shops and festivals when they go live, or when they have to like post consistently, things like that. So this type of business or business owner is very tied to their energy, meaning the business doesn't see much growth or success unless they are literally in it all day, every day. This is fine. I mean, like if the goal is just to make the money and you're okay with doing all the work, it's fine. But it's also not sustainable. Eventually, you're going to get tired of it and you will have nothing to rely on because all of your results have been reliant on your literal energy being put into the business. So I was just on live before we got on here and I was saying that people always tell me like, oh, well, you were able to accomplish X, Y, and Z because you work on your business full or my boutique full time. And I'm like, I don't work on my boutique full time. I coach full time. I get paid a full-time salary from the boutique academy. I coach all day, every day. Just like everybody else clocks in for 8 hours, I clock in for like 12. No joke. And seven of them are me coaching. Like literally, no joke. I didn't work on my boutique 24/7. I didn't work on my boutique full time. It was barely a part-time job. I just found out what I needed to find out, implemented what I needed to implement, automated what needed to be automated, and the business made money. I found a way to sustainably make money from selling physical products. I don't want to be on live all day, every day. I don't want to do no pop-up shops. I haven't done a pop-up shop in years. I don't want to. Festivals, I don't want to. And I don't have to because I built a proper e-commerce business that doesn't require me to do so. So this person has a business that makes money, but only when she hustles hard for it. A business should work when you're not physically showing up for it. You should not have to show up physically for your business to make money. And then this is the last one, the starter stopper. This is the person that is excited at first and quits halfway. They're like, I start everything really strong. Everything's going well. Like these are like my star students who eventually become like the most quiet person in the room. Like they start off really loud and then they become really quiet. This person comes out the gate really strong, but slows down and stops at the first bend. They quit when it feels hard or when progress feels too slow. Um, this person doesn't realize it, but every time she starts over, it's like starting from zero. And that's why she never builds real momentum. Consistency compounds, but quitting resets everything. So I've had a lot of seasons where I wanted to quit or where things got hard or where things weren't going the way that I wanted them to go. But no part of me said, okay, just stop altogether. Like no part of me said, take a extended break and figure out what needs to be figured out. I worked through the struggle. I worked through the uncertainty. I worked through the lack of clarity because I knew that I would get clear by just continuing on. But more so because I knew that stopping and then starting again is literally like starting over every time. And more so because of how much changes on the internet when or how quickly things change on the internet. You know, algorithms change, platforms change. Klaviyo looks totally different. The ads manager looks totally different. Shopify is always adding new functions to their platform. So there's a lot of people who simply put would be okay if they just kept going, but every time they stop, they got to relearn something all the way over from scratch. It just don't make sense, friends. So, which of those patterns sounds like you? Before we keep going, are you an avoider? Are you an overwhelmed juggler? Are you a learner on pause, a hustling seller, or the starter stopper? Let me know in the chat. I would love to hear which one you are. Lisa said, I'm a starter stopper, hustling seller, all of the above. Overwhelmed juggler, among other things. Definitely 3 out of the 5. More of the hustling seller, starter stopper, overwhelmed juggler, overwhelmed juggler, definitely. Okay. A lot of people are saying the overwhelmed juggler. I think a lot of people are that one for sure. Especially when you're still working full time, you got your kids, you got the business, then you got all the different parts of the business, and you want to do a pop-up shop. I know. Learner on pause and starter stopper. Okay, I see myself in all of them. Hustling seller, overwhelmed juggler, the avoider. Ooh, she got her eyes closed. Listen, I get it. I understand. All of them. The starter stopper, overwhelmed juggler, and the hustler. All right, cool. Okay, so self-identification is really, really important. Like I teach a lot of classes, as y'all know, and like, of course, I choose the topic, but sometimes the topic doesn't apply, wholeheartedly to the whole room. So, one thing that I've tried to start doing is like help people to identify where they're stuck or what they're stuck on or where they could be doing a little bit more or where they're not doing enough and things like that so that everybody doesn't feel like I'm talking directly to them or like that the class wasn't applicable to them. So, I love that you guys are able to identify. More on the overwhelmed juggler and starter stopper and learn on pause. Can you put the avoider screen back up so I can screenshot it? Here you go. This is the avoider. I'm the learner on pause, but if the execution don't match the vision, it leads me to juggling and then avoiding. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. You're welcome. All right, let's keep going. So it's about to get real fun. I feel bad for people who are not here right now. Okay, so let's talk about how to fix it. So when it comes to business, and there's a lot of ladies in this room who have been in my programs before, in my classes, in my membership. Y'all know I'm not gonna teach you how to hustle. Like I just am not that person at all. I'm not gonna teach you how to chase daily revenue. I just want to teach you how to plan it, launch it, and sustainably market it. That's it. Like, are we going to do this in the smartest way possible? I'm not going to teach you how to be on the internet 24/7. I'm not the girl that's going to teach you got to post X many times a day and do this many pop-up shops and I'm just not going to do that at all. So, here's where we're going to start, okay? I said we have reached the acceptance stage. We realized yes, okay? So, I want you guys first and foremost to write down your goal for the next 90 days. Tell me what your goal would be for the next 90 days. Actually, put it in the chat. What would be your goal for the next 90 days? And let's do like October through December because that'll be all of Q4, which is the best time of the year to make some money. Let me know in the chat. What is your October through December goal for your business? Let me know. Q4, 5K, but I think that's low. No, we're going to stick with it. 5K to be consistent in marketing, monetary goals, monetary. Make consistent sales. I don't believe in consistent sales. I only believe in numbers because consistent sales could be one order a day at $20, $15, $45. We're in business to make money. I will never just tell somebody how they can get to consistent sales. We have to talk in dollar signs, plain and simply. You started a business to make money. 30K consistent 10K months, 7K, 2,000, 4K, 5,000 pounds, 5K, 6K, 5 to 6K, 25K, 1,500, 15K, 7K, 200K. Let's see, what else we got? 9K. Okay, period. Let's see. I'll take a couple more. 5K, launching mid-October, second boutique. Okay, 18K. Complete rebrand the correct way to be able to retire my husband. Okay, I know that's right. Register it. Okay, cool. Scale and automate my business. I don't want to put a cap at what I will generate. 7K in holiday fund. I love it. Okay, so one thing or three things I want you to reflect on. First, have you ever hit this number before in a 90-day window of time? The second is, have you ever come close to that number in a 90-day window of time? And third, why you chose that number. And the reason that I want you to reflect on this is because this is a question I ask in every conversation I have in a coaching capacity. As I just mentioned, like I only talk in numbers. We're in business to make money. I'm going to talk to you about money, plain and simply. And anybody who tries to help you with your business and does not talk to you about money does not actually, in fact, want to help your business. Likely cannot help you in business. They need to talk to you about money, plain and simply. So Have you ever hit it before? You don't have to have hit that number before at all, but you do want to choose a number that sounds realistic. Um, have you ever come close? If you've ever come close, it's realistic, plain and simply. And then lastly, why you chose that number. I believe that it's really important to choose a number that is rooted in reality. So let's talk about that. Okay. So for some of you, I don't know nothing about your businesses. Well, some of y'all know about your business, but most of you, I don't know anything about your business. Okay. So let's talk about why that number may be random and why that number may need to be revised. Okay. So first things first, a lot of times when I ask people about their 90-day goals, I also like to talk in 90-day periods of time. I don't like to talk in daily, weekly, or monthlies personally. Um, a lot of times people choose a feel good number. Like it would feel good to be able to say that I made X amount of dollars. Feels really good. I know. But a goal, as I mentioned, needs to be rooted in reality. In order for a goal to be rooted in reality, you would need to be able to map your way to that number. You would need to have data that justifies that you're capable. You would need to have the inventory that supports that amount of money, or you would have to have the capability of getting your hands on the amount of inventory that supports your ability to make that amount of money. Sometimes people choose a goal without clarifying or factoring in profit versus revenue. So I'm going to imagine that most of the numbers that most of you share are revenue, meaning the number you want to see on Shopify. Like you want Shopify to say that you made $4,000. You want Shopify to say you made $9,000. You want Shopify to say you made $15,000. That's revenue. But you also want to make sure that you're factoring in how much money you want to make or have left over in profit, because we're not in business just to say we had sales. We're in business to say we had sales that generated profit and allowed us to sustain the business, pay ourselves, so on and so forth. This number is often a number that doesn't take into consideration any plans for discounts and promotions. A lot of people tell me that they don't intend to run any sales or promotions, but realistically, especially in a Q4, you're going to be running a sale, a promotion of some sort. You're likely going to run a few of them, right? So you could say to yourself that, oh, this number is after sales and discounts and promotions, but I can guarantee you that you likely didn't take that into consideration. And the reason that I know most people don't take that into consideration is because most of the time the pop-up on our website is giving people a discount, 15% off, 20% off, 25% off, whatever. It's a discount. So you choose the number, but you also want to take it into consideration that a percentage of these sales are going to be discounted. All of the sales that you're going to get in a whatever period of time are not, in fact, going to be full price sales. This number that we choose as a goal often ignores marketing and or ad costs. Some people know that they're going to run ads, others run ads randomly, as we learned earlier. It's really important for you to plan that in advance. You want a budget, not just for how much money you're going to spend on inventory, but anything else that you know you're going to spend money on during that window of time. You need to budget for that. A big one that I see happening for a lot of people is that they forget shipping and expenses. I'm gonna tell y'all in the most simple terms what happens for most people when it comes to shipping. So, number one, the shipping is typically set up wrong. They have it set up to where it is a flat rate, meaning you chose how much money you wanted to charge for the shipping. Let's say you're charging $7 for shipping. Well, when you go to print that label, you know that Shopify is going to tell you this is how much the label costs. The cost of the label is taken into consideration two things. It's taken into consideration the distance that that package is traveling and the weight of that package. So, problem one, most people don't weigh their products. Like they don't actually put the product weight in until they're shipping the package out. And two, some people just flat out lie. Like they don't even put the they don't even put the weight in, so it gives them an inaccurate shipping cost. I don't know if y'all know this, but when you start shipping your packages out and let's say the weight is off, depending on your post office, some post offices are lenient, some of them are not. They can actually back charge you for shipping that you did not pay for, and it will show up in your Shopify. I've literally made a mistake and shipped the order where we forgot to put the proper weight in, and we got back charged for it, which was fine, thankfully, but you know. But anyway, so what happens for most people, let's say you charge $7 for shipping. Well, you go and print that label, the label's actually $11. So that means that the customer pays $7, but you paid $11. So you paid $4 out of your actual money, your money to actually cover this label. Here's the even bigger problem. So on your order screen, not order screen, on your analytics screen, let's say you get a $28 order, but let's say that the customer paid $7 for shipping. You did not, in fact, make $28. You made $21. You sold a $21 product or some products that together made up $21, and the person made paid $7 for shipping. So sometimes people tell me how much money they made, but they don't factor in shipping costs. I'm like, oh no, actually, in fact, you did not make whatever that dollar amount was. So you have to take into consideration that you're going to pay for shipping expenses. You're going to take into consideration processing fees. Afterpay takes like 6%. Affirm takes an even bigger percentage. What's the other one? Shop Pay, Sezzle, Zip, Klarna, they all take a percentage of your sales, plain and simply. Not checking your existing inventory value. A lot of times people tell me how much money they want to make in a 30-day window of time, but we look at the inventory. The inventory that they have does not support their ability to make that amount of money. These are things we could literally see in your business. Like I could look at your business in a couple minutes and tell you what's feasible, what's not feasible, what can happen, what cannot happen. And lastly, not planning for inventory restock needs. So sometimes I talk to people who say, oh, I don't do restocks. And I tell them that doesn't make sense. If you have a business that produces income and there's things that sell well and that people are asking you to bring back, the smartest thing you can do is bring that back. Plain and simply. Like a lot of businesses give and take. I know that you may not want to sell the same things over and over again, but if you desperately want consistent income and you know that you can get consistent income from restocking things, the smartest thing you could do is restock things, plain and simply. So, most people don't think about any of this when they choose a goal. They just choose a goal or choose a number that would feel good to hit. But that's why the gap feels so huge, the gap being where you are now and where you want to be. It's because you're choosing a number purely based on dreams and aspirations. Like it would feel really nice to be able to get there, but we have no reason or no reason. We have no plan to get there, and it's just plain and simply not realistic. The goal needs to be rooted in something, more specifically, reality to begin with. So I know mine is set up wrong. Mercury, I did that to me one time. I chose this number because it's what my sales plan calculated for me, depending on the data I gave it about my end goals. Never hit or come close. Chose the goal because inventory on hand is almost the value of that. Give or take proper pricing. Gotcha. All right. So when we talk about a 90-day plan, it's not just picking a number and crossing your fingers. It's setting a goal that actually makes sense for your business and building the system to reach it. So we're going to talk about what it looks like to build the system to reach it. Again, rooted in reality, first things first. Like, is this number actually doable? Once you can say to yourself, like, this number is doable, then we can say, okay, what does it look like to build the system that supports my ability to actually meet that number? So, I find that most people live in one of these two categories when it comes to, well, when I work with people, let me say that. When people come to work with me, they fall into one of these two categories. The first category is needing things to be built or defined. So, built meaning like they need to build a website, they need to build an email list, they need to build the email automations, they need to add a pixel to their website. They need to define their target audience. They need to define what they sell, what their niche is, so on and so forth, right? So if you're all the way back there, we can't quite yet talk about consistency in sales because we got things that need to be built. First things first, right? Like you could tell me what your goals are, you can tell me what you want to accomplish. Like we could have the conversation, but there are things that need to get built before we could say that it's realistic for you to get there. So these are the people that typically are missing foundational steps. And plain and simply, you can't scale something that's not actually, in fact, built. Most of you guys know I worked in retail for a really long time. And I always say that when I started my business, even though I had 11 years of sales experience, I had no experience in marketing. I had no experience in branding. And so there was a lot of things that I needed to build first and clarify or define before I got to a place where consistent sales could actually, in fact, occur. So I started in having to build and define things before I got to a place where consistency could thrive. The other group are people who need to optimize or refine things. Optimize is a fancy word for improving. So these are the people who have pieces in place, but they aren't working together. And I would say this group is people who don't really need more tools. They just need more cohesion between the tools. So they already have the website. They have an email list. They have some clarity about their target audience. They have some content. They have the email flows, so on and so forth. They have a pixel. Maybe they've even tried running ads. They have things that we can build up on, right? We can refine what you already have. We can make what you have better. And typically you're able to get to your goals a lot faster as long as you're not emotional about the changes that need to occur. You get to your goals a lot faster because we're working from where you are and building up on what already exists or fixing what already exists instead of adding more to your plate, right? So let's go into what this looks like. So this is what an okay business looks like. Content, you got it. Content's driving traffic to the website. Website has a pop-up. As a result, people are going through your welcome flow. Hopefully they're using the coupon code and they're actually in fact purchasing. This is an okay business. This business could make some sales for sure, but many sales are being missed due to missing foundational steps. So I am going to share my screen in a bigger way. One second. And I'm going to show you guys what a better, smarter business looks like. So, one second. Let's see if I can make this. Can I make this bigger? I want to show you guys what consistent, sustainable sales actually looks like in e-commerce. Let's see. Share, advanced. No, we don't want to share that. I want to share this. Whiteboard. Boom. Okay. Let me know in the chat if you guys can see my screen. Just put okay, perfect. Thank you, Lisa. All right, so let me make this big for myself. I'm gonna grab this and move this and make it bigger. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is an okay business. It works. You can make sales with this. But let me show you what a smarter business looks like. So I'm gonna zoom out and then I'm gonna zoom in. Okay. So this is what a smarter business looks like. This business is not just reliant on social media. Most people's businesses are solely reliant on social media and even more sadly, relying on a singular social media platform. So when I talk to my students about building a smart business, we start with where the traffic is going to come from. Yes, everybody knows you have to produce content, but there are a multitude of places that the content can live, which means that the customer journey can start in a multitude of places. Okay. So let me make this bigger. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So in my program, we teach traffic driving from 3 places. You can build the traffic, borrow the traffic, or buy the traffic. You can also think of this in awareness too. Like you can build the awareness, borrow the awareness, buy the awareness. Okay. So building, which is where most people live, most people are not spending any money to acquire people. Most people are not borrowing from other people's credibility and audiences. They're not working with influencers and things like that. So as I stated, most times it's just content. But most people choose the platform that they're comfortable with. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever. But there's Instagram and Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube. You could blog, which would be SEO helping to drive traffic. And also your email campaigns organically are also driving traffic to your website as well. If you want to build awareness and build traffic, then you can start here. Borrowing traffic looks like doing giveaways, influencer or working with influencers and UGC creators, brand collaborations, podcast interviews, joint lives, or takeovers, things like that. So for example, there are 2 students in my program right now. One sells clothing, the other sells jewelry. They're literally creating content for each other. So the one that's selling clothes, she's wearing the other's jewelry and she's literally promoting the jewelry along with her outfit. The one that sells jewelry is wearing the other girl's outfit and she's promoting her jewelry while wearing the other student's outfits. They're borrowing from each other's credibility that they already have. The other way that you can drive traffic and build awareness is buying. So Meta ads, which is Facebook and Instagram, TikTok ads, Google ads or Google Shopping, Pinterest ads, whitelisted influencer ads. Basically, the influencer creates the content, they run the ads from their platform, and it looks like it's from them, even though it's your ad. You paid for it. So we're gonna stop here for a second. when people come to me, they say, I want consistent sales. Great. Of course you do. But where are we going to start the process of you getting those consistent sales? Most people live just here. Like there are 5, 10, 15 different, and this is not all of them. So 15 different tools that we could use to build an audience. Most people live in one, whatever their favorite platform is. And on the occasion, they turn on an ad, but then they turn it off because they're like, oh, it's not working. You need that consistently. Like something needs to be consistently doing the thing that you want it to do, creating the awareness, driving the traffic. Um, I think that it's really important for you to get to a place where you live in all three, building, borrowing, and buying. Of course, you can build a business organically. There are a lot of people who will try to teach you how to build a business with organic marketing by itself. They'll tell you that you don't need ads, but running a business without ads is quite unsustainable. Like you would literally have to be hustling for the rest of your life. Now, you could say, I'm going to build and borrow. So maybe you post your content here and there, and you work with influencers or UGC creators, or you do podcast interviews and things like that that are naturally or consistently driving traffic. But even still, it has to be something outside of just building at the end of the day, right? So once you have awareness in traffic, that traffic has to go somewhere, which moves us to our next phase of this chart. I'm going to zoom out and then we'll zoom in. There are 8 different things here. Again, this is not a comprehensive list. It could be more than this. These are just the ones that I see consistently and that I would recommend to my audience to utilize. So traffic destinations, this is where you're sending the traffic to. It's basically the clickable destinations. So all of those traffic sources can be driven to any of these traffic destinations. Okay. So it's not just, oh, all the traffic goes to my homepage. It could be a lead magnet or an opt-in page. It could be a collection page. It could be a quiz. It could be a product page. It could be a restock or wait list. It could be a landing page, like a Linktree style page, a blog post. It could be UGC influencer content. All of these are places where traffic could be driven to. And what I want you guys to know is that when you build a funnel, sales funnel, marketing funnel, you're basically pulling from these things. You're saying, here's the starting point, my top of funnel. This is my middle of funnel where I'm sending people. And then as we get further and further down, your bottom of funnel. Okay. So here's where most people lose sales. Okay. The next phase of this. Once you drive the traffic, as we know, most people are not actually, in fact, going to buy anything. They're going to land there and they're going to do nothing. They're going to leave without anything. And some people tell themselves, like, oh, I'm doing a bad job. Sometimes you're not doing a bad job. You just were missing a very foundational component of your ability to keep this sale likely. So 2 things can happen. You can either capture their contact information or not capture their contact information. You can either capture it by way of email lists or email address or phone number being collected, or you could use your Facebook pixel or your TikTok pixel, which would gather the activity that they or the action that they took on your website, and you retarget them with ads. So let's start with captured first. If you capture the person, that will mean that they either joined your email list. It could be that they completed a quiz. It could also be that they made a purchase. It could also be that they added to cart. When someone adds to cart and they leave their email address or phone number behind, they get subscribed to your list. As long as that little box is checked, there's a little box that they have to check underneath that sign up source. So capturing is really important because this all allows you an opportunity to keep marketing to those people. But on the flip side, you may not capture them. So someone viewed the page only, but you didn't get their email address. Maybe you don't have a pixel, or maybe you have a pixel, but you're not retargeting them in any way. That doesn't help you. They clicked the products, but they didn't buy. They didn't even add to cart, or they viewed the quiz, but didn't start the quiz, or they started the quiz, didn't complete the quiz. That all could stop you from being able to continue to market to them. So stopping here for a second, I always tell people that we personally stand in the way of our ability to make money consistently. Consistent sales is not a number of posts on Instagram. It is not a number of emails being sent. It is you having a full blown business structure or marketing structure. Let's say that marketing structure, and understanding what you use to capture or what you use to make people aware, where you drove the traffic to, and how you captured that person. Sales aside, Where did I make them aware, or what am I using to make them aware? Where am I driving their traffic to, and how am I capturing their information once they get there? Plain and simply, stopping there, okay? Now, here's where business becomes really, really, really smart. Email. Email, in fact, does the heavy lifting for a business. People love to ask me how many times to post a day, and I don't know. I post as many times as I would like. All I know is my goal is to get as many people as possible in an email list, on an email list. So let me zoom out so you can see what this looks like, and then we zoom back in. This is those are all those little greenish yellow boxes are emails. And that isn't like me saying that you need that many. It could be more, it could be less. There's no such thing as too many. I do want you to know that. But that's a lot of emails, okay? Email marketing is what allows businesses to make the type of money that you desire to make. A lot of the emails that you likely receive are automated. Like, yeah, you get the new arrivals and the sale announcements and things like that, but a lot of email marketing is automated and based off of your behavior as a shopper. So we're going to zoom in and then we'll zoom back out, starting at the top. So we know that we got to make people aware at some point, right? You're either going to use SEO, blogging, or like they searched the keyword on Google. Google said, hey, we got a page, a product that aligns with what you searched with. That's SEO at work. Content, social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or X, Threads, so on and so forth. You posted content or ads, plain and simply. You could do all, you could do one, totally up to you. The point is that we need people to go to a website. Who cares if you get 1,000 likes if you can't do nothing with them likes? Who cares? Who cares if you get 10,000 followers? Who cares if you get 10,000 shares? Who cares if they never make it to their website? I don't care personally. Like I'm be honest with you. I don't care how many people went to your website. If nobody went to your website, I don't know why we're celebrating personally. Plain and simply. So when somebody goes to your website, our hope is that they join your email list or your text list. Like we need that. Before you do anything, I need you to join my email list. They could join through a pop-up on your homepage. You could add a pop-up to a specific page. Like you could say, this pop-up should only show on my clearance page. This pop-up should only show when they're viewing this blog. This pop-up should only show when they are on the plus size page. You could create pop-ups for specific reasons, specific purposes. All the pop-ups could say different things, could offer different discounts, so on and so forth. We need contact information. Whether they use the coupon code or whatever today, irrelevant because we about to email the heck out of your email inbox, plain and simply. So when it comes to email, you got two directions. Campaigns, which are the one-off emails you send for announcements, new arrivals, newsletters, sales, so on and so forth. And then you also have email flows, which are your automations. These are the emails that run on autopilot based off of activity that the person or actions that the person took. So let's start with campaigns. There are four primary reasons to send emails: brand awareness, nurturing, educating, selling. Again, you can send as many of these as you want. They're not automated. You're sending them on a schedule that you determine. So anytime you log into Klaviyo or MailChimp or whatever you use for email marketing, you want to ask yourself, and why am I sending this email today? Am I doing this for brand awareness? Am I doing this for nurturing? Am I doing this for educating? Or am I trying to make sales? I'm going to go out on a limb and say that most times when you send an email right now, you're trying to make a sale, but you in fact need to send emails for these other three reasons because not everybody is ready to give you money right now, today. Like some people are literally just shopping around. They're on everybody's email list. They've been on everybody's website and they're trying to figure out who is the best person to give their money to. So you're going to need to nurture, educate, give them more information, share reviews, testimonials, tutorials, so on and so forth. Like be prepared to talk to people, not just throw products down their throat all day, every day. So I got 5 emails down here, but again, it could be as many as you want. They're happening based off of what's occurring in your business. If you got new products, sell said new products. If you don't have any new products, you nurture your audience. If you have a product that's not selling well, educate people on why they need that product. If you got a bunch of new subscribers because maybe you went viral and people did in fact go to your website and they did sign up for your email list, but they didn't purchase, let's create some brand awareness emails and actually communicate with them about what's so special and unique and beautiful and perfect about your business. Nurturing is really, really, really important. Okay. Um, Continuing flows. So Most people have a welcome flow, an abandoned cart flow, and a thank you flow. And it typically has one email in it. Personally speaking, I don't know how many emails I got in my flows. I know it's a lot of them though. My welcome flow currently, I think, has 6 emails in it. My browse abandonment has 2 emails. Site abandonment, one. Abandoned cart, mine has 7, but I have 4 here. Abandoned checkout, 4. Post purchase, which is after someone purchased, 3. No, 4. Upselling, basically, this is you recommending something to them based off of what they already purchased, 3. Customer win back, this is to win back a customer who hasn't shopped with you in a while, 5. VIP customer, someone who's either shopped with you a certain number of times, who has spent a certain amount of money, 3. Sunset, 4. This is a really important one. It's going to help you to clean your list. Sunset flow is for re-engaging people who have not been engaged. So they haven't been opening emails, haven't purchased, haven't clicked, so on and so forth. You're going to create a sequence of emails to send to them to get them back into your world. If they don't purchase if they don't purchase by the end of that automation, you remove them from your list, clean your list. And lastly, replenishment. If you sell something that needs to be replenished and you know that there's, let's say it lasts 45 days, you want to make sure that there's an automated email sequence that goes out to those people based on the fact that this is going to need to be replenished. Okay. So as you can see, there's a lot of email. There's way more email concentration here. Like, again, I'm not going to tell you how many times to post. I don't know. Post as many times as you would like. You could post 27 times a day, by all means, please. What is significantly more important is this stuff right here. Like, do we have any of this? I don't know about what to say in your caption, friend. I don't know. What's the funnel? Like, what's the strategy here? What are we doing? What are we doing? So let's zoom into the bottom of our last little shebang. So as a result of all of these emails being sent, the whole point is just to get you back on the website. Plain and simply. Like, I need you to go back to this website. I need to direct you back to something you've shown interest in, something I think you would like, something that I think you would care about. All of them should be driving traffic back to the website. Okay. As a result, our hope is that we get a first time purchase. But even when they do make that first time purchase, email funnel, they go here, post purchase. Anytime somebody purchases, post purchase, email flow. We should constantly be in email flow. If you're taking any action within any person's business, you should constantly be in an email funnel at all times. Regardless of what action you took, you should always be in a funnel, in a flow, in an automation somewhere. As a result, our hope is that we get a repeat purchase and we make more money. And we just hope that this repeats itself. But it doesn't typically repeat itself without this, because we got to keep sending emails. We got to keep making them aware of what's new. Keep nurturing that relationship. Keep proving that we are worthy of continuing to spend money with. People do not just choose to spend money. Like it, I know we would like to think that we do, but we don't. We are quite influenced to continue to spend money. Sometimes it's the email, sometimes it's an ad, sometimes it's a SMS message, sometimes it's a influencer. It could be a billboard, it could be a radio ad, a TV commercial. We're influenced to do that. Marketing makes us continue to spend money. So an email is super powerful. But the last thing I want you to know about this is that all of this could also be ads. So when someone takes an action within your business, you can also retarget them based off of the action that they took. When someone joins your email list, you can retarget them with an ad. If someone viewed a product on your website and did not add to cart, you could run an ad. If they abandoned their cart, you could run an ad. If they purchased from you and you want them to purchase again, you could retarget them with an ad. If they haven't shopped with you in a while, you could run an ad. If you want to see if they want to shop with you again, you could run an ad. All of this could be an ad. If you want to create some brand awareness, nurture, educate, or make sales, it could be an ad. But let's just scroll back up here for dramatics. 1 second. Dragging. Most people live and just build. That's it. That's their whole business. Their whole business is just, I posted today. I posted 3 times today. I posted 20 times this week. That was their whole entire business. And then they say, how do I get consistent sales? You get consistent sales by finding your way in all of this, building that. Building that is the most crucial part of your ability to get to consistent sales. I don't know if you guys know that I started rebranding my business. Well, most of you guys know I started rebranding my business sometime last year, which means that I wasn't doing much in my business. But when most people choose to take a break and all that stuff, they typically close their website down. I didn't close my website down. I just knew I wasn't going to do nothing. I was like, I'm not posting. I turned all my ads off. I haven't run an ad in over a year. Um, but I still had inventory left over. So I ran all the sales promotions and all that stuff to clear out all the old inventory before I started like working on manufacturing and stuff like that. Another topic for another day. Anyway, I was like, I wonder how much money I can make doing nothing. Like that was literally what I wanted to. I wanted to see how much money I could do. I could make doing nothing. And I looked earlier this month, and I had made a little over $36,000 doing nothing. How did I make $36,000 doing nothing? This. I did absolutely nothing. Every time somebody took an action, they landed in an email flow. If they were already on my email list, they were in an email automation. I did nothing. I posted very few times in the last year and a half, and I made $36,000. I made more money than I made at my last full-time job doing nothing in my business. So remember I was saying that like it's possible for you to get to a place where you can make money doing the bare minimum, but you don't start out like that. This is years in the making for me to be able to make money doing nothing. So when you think about your business, what I want you to ask yourself is, out of all the things that we just talked about here, what am I missing? Do I only have Instagram strategy or TikTok strategy? Am I only going live? Do I only have a couple of email automations and only a couple of emails in each one of those automations? Like, where could I be doing more? Even in the things that you have already, it could be doing more, right? So I mentioned that for some people it's a need to define and build. For others, it's optimize and or rebuild, right? We have to be clear about which one of those lanes we live in before we can say to ourselves, like, I feel like I'm deserving of consistent sales. These are the literal things that I found myself having to ask and talk about over and over again on all the calls that I had recently. Most people don't actually, in fact, realize how much they're missing in their business and how much money they're leaving on the table because they've never seen it. So I hope that that was helpful, being able to see it. Like there's actually a lot of different touch points that will help you make money without you having to do anything, but you do have to build it. Like that's the real work here. Like I have to build it out. And then you have to like optimize it, improve it over time, make some changes, update the messaging, update the content, so on and so forth. Maybe you add something to it, right? But like the money is not going to make itself. It's just simply put not going to happen. So I changed my answer. I do the bare minimum after watching. I'm screaming. Um, okay, so let's keep going. This is my first impression of you. Oh, I love that. So is this what a well-oiled business? Yes. Yes. And this is literally not all of it. Like it could be so much bigger and way more massive than this, especially the more that you grow and the more you learn and the more data you have about your audience. It could be significantly bigger than that, but yeah, I would say that's the bare bones. Like in my world, that's the bare minimum. Literally, like that's the bare minimum of my business at this point. So, with all that in mind, let's talk about what a realistic path forward would look like. I know that most of y'all have full-time jobs. Most of the people that I work with have full-time jobs. Like, I don't work with a lot of people who are already, in fact, running their business full-time. People don't come to me when they're already running their business full-time. They come to me because they want to get to a place where they work their business full-time. Daily revenue goals probably are not realistic right now. Like, plain and simply, it's not realistic, but that doesn't make it impossible for you to be able to make whatever amount of money that you would like to make in a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day window of time. My goal is to teach you how to build realistic, predictable income that works within your life. Like I could actually comfortably say that I can make $36,000 in a year doing basically nothing because I've seen it happen. Like that's realistic for me now. But I couldn't say that that was realistic until it happened. But I can go back and look at where that money came from. I can see what automations did that. I can see what products sold basically themselves. Like as long as I have these products, the money still gets made, right? But until it happens, I can't realistically say that it's going to happen. So at this point, we've diagnosed problems. Now it's time for a little treatment plan. I'm your doctor, okay, at this point. So here is what our treatment plan looks like. This is what every product-based business needs to move from random sales to repeatable, reliable revenue. Dr. Passages, period. So first is traffic. As you saw in the screenshots, those were not screenshots, they're flow maps. In the flow maps that I showed you guys, traffic is a huge component of this. Like if you cannot consistently get traffic to your website, consistent sales are impossible. In order for consistent sales to have a possible life within your business, you need consistent traffic, plain and simply. So consistent visibility. But it likely is not going to be just Instagram or just TikTok or just Facebook. It's going to be a multitude of things. And doesn't have to be all of them. Let me make myself clear. Me showing you that is not me saying you need all of those things, right? Like, and you don't need all of them at one time. I don't want the overwhelmed jugglers to be trying to figure out how to build all of those. What I'm telling you is that you could be doing way more than what you're already doing, okay? The next thing you need is a destination, a optimized website that is designed to convert. That means you would need to know what an optimized website looks like. Easiest way to know what an optimized website looks like is to go to a website of a brand that you shop with on the regular. And I need you to like audit that website from top to bottom. Like imagine that you are imagine that your job is auditing websites for a living. Click everything. Like why did you click there? Does this flow well? Where did you get stuck? What is working? What is not working? Look at the menu, look at the navigation, look at the checkout page, look at the product pages. What do they have that yours does not have? Easiest way to know what could be improved on your own website. You need a lead capture source, pop-ups, forms, incentives. Be prepared to change what your pop-up is or what your incentive is. So if you've had 15% off for the last 3 years, I need you to know that you can change that and you should change that. You should be constantly experimenting with new incentives to see what actually gets people to take the action you want them to take, which is actually, in fact, to sign up for your email list. It's not to get them to use the 15% off. The incentive is a lead magnet. It is something you're using to actually grow your list, not something that you're using to grow your sales. So experiment with that. Email marketing, as you just saw, flows and campaigns should be doing a lot of the heavy lifting for your business. If you're overly reliant on posting and you're telling yourself, like, if I just post however many more times per day, I think that this will change it. I can guarantee you that it will not. Guaranteed. It's not. You need to operate within a world where emails kind of run your life. I always say that, I'm a business coach, right? I have a lot of friends who are business coaches, and we constantly have conversation about how what they do and how they choose to teach is not applicable to product-based business owners. I quite literally have friends that say to their clients, because they don't sell products, you only need to post 3 times a week and you really don't need ads. You just need this type of content. That could work for someone who is selling a $4,000 program or a $5,000 service. They don't need to post nearly as many times. They don't need as much awareness at all. When you're selling $20 this is and $40 that's, you need a lot of awareness. And you would be doing yourself a disservice to try to run that business or grow that business without ads. Ads are really important. Sales strategy, one of my favorite topics. Um, you need that. So sales strategy is not a promotion. I don't want you to confuse that. It's not just a promotion. A promotion is a form of a sales strategy, but campaigns or sales strategies, launches. So when you launch something new, sales strategy. Think about like Black Friday promotions. Those should be sales strategies. Um, yeah, those should be strategic. It should not just be you choosing a date and time where things are occurring. There should be a goal, there should be a timeline, there should be a messaging strategy. Um, there should be metrics that you're going to be measuring so that you know whether or not you're succeeding or progressing towards your goals. It should be strategic. And lastly, you need retention. You need a way to keep people coming back. So if we even just looked at the email automations or the flows we looked at, post purchase is a retention strategy. Um, win back retention strategy. Sunset retention strategy. All of those things are really important to keep people in your world because if you didn't know, the largest percentage of your revenue should come from existing customers, not from brand new customers. So that, my friends, is our blueprint. Now, the truth is, you can either invest your time to build this or you can invest your money. I have seasons where I invest more of my time and I have seasons where I invest more of my money. I also have seasons where I invest my time in certain things while I allow my money to work for me and letting somebody else do it. There are seasons where I'm running ads super heavily, which means that I'm letting my money work for me. And there are times where I'm working a lot harder organically, meaning I'm not letting my money work for me. You have to make the choice personally of whether you're going to invest more time or if you're going to invest more money or if you're going to invest both and where you're going to invest them. In my opinion, everybody has time or money. Some people have both. But once you know what the plan actually is, what needs to be done, what needs to be built, what needs to be tackled, it's your choice on how you'll actually tackle it. We talked about those five different phases and the three groups that most people fall into. Number one is figuring out which of those groups you fall into so that you can identify where you're likely, hopefully, not going to get stuck again, right? So if you're the overwhelmed, doing the most, never finishing things, like, okay, let me figure out what I need to change so that that doesn't occur anymore. That might look like, as simple as it sounds, shortening your to-do list. Like my to-do list needs to be two things and that's it. Three things max and that's it. Like being more realistic with yourself about what you can and cannot do if you're telling yourself you're going to put more time into the business, right? So time or money, plain and simply. The choice, you can spend time, figure it out. You can spend money, get help, or get a shortcut for the process. But either way, the treatment plan stays the same. Either way, you still got need for more traffic sources. You need to clarify those traffic destinations. You need to clarify how you're going to capture people, and you need all those email automations. Plain and simply. Whether you build them yourself, or you get somebody else to build them for you, or you get somebody to teach you how to build them, they all are necessary. It does not matter what you sell. This is not just a clothing-based business thing. This is not a skincare thing. This is not a body care thing. This is not a hair extension thing, a candle thing. This is a e-commerce business thing. This is a product-based business thing. If you were to go and work at any e-commerce business right now, like one that's making hundreds of millions of dollars a year, that is what you would see at a bare minimum, like the bare bones of the business. So if you want help, everything we just covered is exactly what I teach inside of my programs. Again, I am an advocate personally of doing the things myself. I've never had anybody run my ads. I had somebody do my email marketing for maybe 6 months in the entire almost 7 years that I've been in my business. I it did not work out. I was like, ciao. No, I will take that back. Thank you so much. I do this work myself. You can do this work yourself, but sometimes it just requires a little bit of help and a little bit of guidance in figuring out what the heck you need to do and where you need to do it, okay? Um, Linda, I would love to help you. So, if you don't know about my program, it's called E-commerce Profit Plan. It's a 12-week program, about 90 days. It costs just under $2,000. I'm very price transparent. Costs just under $2,000. Our typical payment plan is four payments of 525. We're currently doing a extended payment plan. I have never done a full Q4 where we weren't enrolling new people. This year, we're doing a full Q4 where we're not enrolling new people. I want to see an entire Q4 through being in people's businesses for the entirety of it. Like typically, I would do a Black Friday, and then you decide if you want to keep working with us or not. But then what happens for most people is that they have an amazing Black Friday, and then they don't have a plan for after Black Friday, or they don't have a plan for December. They don't have a plan for January, right? So we're doing a couple things. One, our first month currently is $300. You can get your first 30 days for $300. And then it's a 4 month payment plan of $450. So that means you have a 5 month payment plan instead of our normal 4 months. And basically the first 30 days is $10 a day, 300 bucks. Okay. Now, this is going to run from October 1st through January 31st. And enrollment closes on September 30th because, again, I want to work with people for the entirety of the whole of Q4 because this is the easiest period of time throughout the year to make money, number one. And number two, um, it's also where people kind of like get too comfortable too. Like they might have the best new November of their life, best month of their life, and then December it falls short. And by January, they're literally back where they started again. So this also includes an extra month of coaching. Instead of it being just October, November, and December, we're going all the way into January. So every person who enrolls before September 30th is getting an entire extra month because not only do I want to help you through Q4, I also want to help you plan for the new year and see your first month of the year out. Sounds really exciting to me personally. So October is going to be all about cleaning up and building what's missing. So all the things we just talked about getting built. Okay, everybody has to build it. It's a requirement. We will be on Zoom for as long as it takes for everybody to build what needs to be built. Period. Okay. We're gonna prep for November and Black Friday, making sure that all the things are built out because money should be happening on autopilot all November, plain and simply. November is about executing Black Friday and holiday sales. December is about maximizing your holiday revenue and planning for 2026. And then January, starting to implement your 2026 plan and getting a fresh start into Q1 of 2026. And I'm very excited about that. So again, enrollment closes September 30th. We are not taking a single new student until January 2026. And I'm standing on business here because I need to see it through for every single person in the room. Like nobody can come into the world and be like, I'm just starting. I don't know where we're at. Like everybody got to be where we need to be when we need to be there, plain and simply. You're going to get support through the holidays and into the new year. Again, $300 for your first month is like $10 a day. And plain and simply, if I can't help you make $300, I wouldn't ask you for $300. Like, plain and simply, it's $300, friend. $300. If you sell a $20, I don't know what the math would be. Hold on one second, because I'm a math girl. If you sell $20, I don't know what's, you need to sell 15 of them. If I can't help you sell 15 of whatever them $20 things is, shame on me for even asking you for the $300. That's insane. This is literally a program that will pay for itself as long as you show up. I am not doing the work for you by any means. I'm literally here to guide you in getting the work done. I am here to teach you all the things you don't need, that you don't know, and build whatever needs to be built that does not already exist. And that is it. I've had a lot of people that I've helped do the things. I'm also extremely transparent. Everybody ain't a hardworking individual. Like I'm a hardworking individual. I expect hard work of the people around me. I will hold you accountable. I will also tell you when you're falling short. I will tell you when you're doing it wrong. I will tell you how you can make it better. My program has myself and four other coaches. This is our first full year where we had a full coaching staff. I used to teach all the things. Now I have experts that teach all the things with me. Everybody has their own expertise. I am there for all things related to branding and sales strategy. We have a marketing instructor. We have an inventory coach. We have an email marketing coach, and we have a website design coach. And we all work together to make sure that our students have all the things that they need. You're getting all of that for $300 for your first month, okay? And the biggest thing I want you to know is that you have an e-commerce business, and part of the reason why it's not working or it doesn't feel as comfortable and easy as you want it to is because you're performing the job of a bunch of people. When I worked in retail, I was just a sales associate and then eventually a sales manager and then eventually a assistant store manager, store manager. But outside of that were marketing teams, inventory teams, branding teams, photography teams, content teams, so on and so forth. Right now, you're doing all that work by yourself. And not to mention unclearly, like there's clarity that is lacking in those areas of the business. So myself and my coaches are there to help you gain the clarity that you need. And I like to think of my program as like having a board of directors for your e-commerce business for the lowest price imaginable. It's quite insane, actually. Um, I think that everybody needs it personally, but I'm biased. If you are a person who can afford a $300 for 30 days to figure your life out and fix your business, I would love to have you in our world. It's a fun time. It's also a real work. This is not a content class at all. This is not a motivation class. This is not a manifestation class. This is not a storytelling class. I'm not about to tell you no stories to inspire you or nothing of the sort. It is quite literally, let's get the work done. Let's figure the things out, so on and so forth. Would this be beneficial for someone who hasn't launched? Yes, it would for sure. Um, Lisa, you're so funny. Um, will this be on Sundays? No. So my program is on, all of the coaches meet on their own dates and times. So all of my calls are on Wednesdays. Our email marketing calls are the first Tuesday of the month. Um, Website design is the third Thursday of the month. Inventory is the fourth Thursday of the month. So most of the calls are on Wednesdays and Thursdays, with the exception of the email marketing call, which is on a Tuesday. I'm about to be on bed rest and give birth in December, so it's kind of smacking me in the head like, is this your shot? I'm screaming. Lord, I really want to, waiting for unemployment checks to hit. You guys, it's so worth it. Such an eye opener, very needed for a serious businesswoman. Oh, thank you, Wanda. Um, so yeah, guys, that's it. If you join before September 30th, feel free. If you need to book a call, if you have questions about the program, like I said, I do all the calls myself. So if you have questions, you're not sure it's for you, feel free. I'll send you guys the link. I'll put the link for the program in the chat if anybody's interested. I'll also put the link to book a call in the chat if anybody is interested. The calls are literally to figure out if the program is a good fit for you. It's not a coaching call by any means. I'm not going to audit your website. I'm not going to audit your flows. I'm not going to audit any of the things. Is if you have questions about the program, if you're not sure if it's for you. Also, if you have questions right now, feel free to ask them in the chat. Let me find the link for you guys. One second. Um, what am I looking for? Oof. Also, I did not mention, one second. Um, I can't talk and type at the same time. I'm so sorry, y'all. I suck at typing and talking at the same time. There we go. That's the link for the program. And then I'll put the link to book a call if anybody has questions. There is the payment plan option. There's also the pay in full option. If you choose the pay in full option, you will see Afterpay, Affirm, and Klarna, which will obviously give you more flexible options. I think that per the last time I checked, Affirm has the most flexible payment option. Like and I think they check it based off of like your payment history or something. I don't know. But one girl told me she joined the program and she didn't pay nothing. I said, oh, okay. I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Crazy, insane. I said, you ain't pay nothing? She must have impeccable credit. She said, I ain't pay nothing. They gave me, like, she had like a delay on when her first payment was due. I said, dang, that's like free. That's crazy. Um, okay, there we go. So yes, the payment plan option, and then the pay in full option has Afterpay, Affirm, Klarna. If you pay in full, then you get a one-on-one strategy call with me. So if you want me to have eyeballs on your business, want me to audit it, tell you what's wrong, tell you what needs to be built, all the good things, the pay in full option comes with a one-on-one call. This workshop alone was so insightful. I bet the full class is so worth it. Yes, girl. It's so good. I mean, I'm biased, but it is amazing. Come on, Avery. Come on home, girl. Am I too late for my 30 minutes? No, you're not too late. No, I'll text you when we get off of here. Actually, I'm gonna text you right now so I don't forget, because I'll forget. I'm about to text you. Um, will we not get that in the program, like peaced out? What we talk about, Lisa? What you talking about? Peaced out. Let me know what you talking about, girl. I am messaging Isaiah. Let me stop sharing my screen so I can see y'all. I was gonna see y'all faces, but I don't see y'all faces, child. Um, it's time to be a case study. I want to be on a screenshot. I am hollering. I'm screaming. Um, like the audit's eyes on your business. Oh, okay. Wait, what was the question? Like, will we not get that program like pieced out? So thank you, Bianca. So the one-on-one call is literally for me to like make you a strategy. So less about me teaching you something on the call, more about me saying, all right, this is what I see, this is what we gonna do. Instead of you piecing your own strategy together, it's me saying, here's what you're gonna do, friend. This is what I see. We're going to fix that. I said email regarding your content creation. You must mean the membership. I don't have a content creation program. Lydia. Okay, I will look for your email when we get off of here. I gotcha. I have been learning a lot from the content subscription, but this back end needs assistance. Yes. My hair ain't looking cute as yours. Aw. I get paid on the 30th, so don't leave me out. Okay, I got you. I got you. Anybody else have any questions about anything? Anything we talked about today? Y'all are so sweet. Thank you so much. I keep waking up forgetting that I got a bob now. I'm like, Jesus. Wow. Where'd this come from? Um Oh my gosh. I do have a content. Somebody, Lydia mentioned the content membership, or content. Lydia and Avery both mentioned the content membership. I have a content membership. So if you're struggling with content, you should definitely join if you need help with just content. But if you need help with the back end, the ads, the emails, the strategy of it all, join the program, friend. It is the answer to your questions. Okay, it doesn't look like anybody has any other questions. I'm gonna scroll up one time and make sure I didn't miss anything earlier. Prepared to be annoyed with me because I won't shut up when I'm in. It's okay. You know, I know how you roll, Lisa. I'm not mad. Let me scroll. I'm gonna scroll up, make sure I didn't miss anybody's question earlier. Doesn't look like it. Y'all know I don't like leaving people hanging. Oh, nope, nope. Okay, I think I got all of them. I think I got them all. You are so welcome. Can I get the link to book a call? Oh, yes. 1 second. 1 second. There you go. I need to figure this out and get back in because soldiering out here without you is not cutting it. Come join us. Come join us. All of y'all who have graduated, can y'all just send me the link for the graduation rate? Y'all don't have to rejoin the full program. Just get the month to month option. Y'all already graduated. Yes. Can y'all please send me a link send me a message in the circle. Send me a message in circle, child. Lord. I'm sitting here reading y'all messages like, wait, friends, friends. Yes. I am screaming. So Wayla, you are already in the program. You already paying for it, friend. Oh my gosh. Dwayla, you're already paying for it. I am screaming. I am screaming. Okay, guys. For those of you who are past students, send me a message in circle. For those of you who are not and want to join us, I hope to see you in the program soon. If you have any questions, let me know. I am an open book. My DMs are always open. Feel free to hit me up. I hope you guys enjoyed the class today. I hope it was helpful. Hope it was insightful. Hope it helped to illuminate where we're stuck, where we need to figure some things out for sure. Um, and yeah, I will see you guys on the internet. You're so welcome.